6 months ago, I set up this entire journal with 7 different themes and then gave it away to a mystery subscriber. I've been sharing those themes each month, but now let's flip through the whole thing from start to finish. And look how chunky this journal ended up. The elastic is really working hard to keep it closed. Hi, I'm Erin, and this is the mystery journal for July to December 2024. The folks at KUMA Stationery and Crafts kindly supplied their astral travel journal for me to use as this mystery journal, and we're going to start from the back here because it came with some freebies, a sticker sheet, a business card, and a metal bookmark, which I made sure to include for the winner. So I just popped those into the pocket at the back of the journal, and then we can move back to the front and start our flip through from a more traditional place. I popped a little note in the front of the journal and put the winner's name on the nameplate page as well. And I'm always feeling my most inspired when it comes to the first cover spread in a new journal, so I like to put in some extra effort, and that usually means I'm cutting something away. This whole new journal setup is on my channel as its own video, as are all of the other themes in this journal too, so if you like the look of anything you're seeing and you want to maybe move it into your own 2025 journal, you can check out those videos. I have them all linked in the description. It is actually so uncomfortable for me to watch this back because I'm wearing long sleeves in the video because I shot this 6 months ago when it was winter here, and now it is summer in my city and it is very uncomfortable to look at a jumper. At the same time, it's actually really nice to go back through these layouts because I did them so long ago now that I've forgotten about some of them. But the timing also feels really appropriate and serendipitous because I sent the new mystery journal for the first half of next year on the way to its winner today. July was much more neutral than I typically lean in my own journal. It was this cute little cottagecore moment with some washi stickers from the washi tape shop, and that is really part of why I set up a journal that I then give away, is because it's a way for me to experiment with stationery that I may not usually use in my own journal that I maybe don't resonate with for me, but I think would look cute for someone else. It also gives me a way to use up some of the stationery that comes across my desk because I'm very lucky to receive quite a bit for free, and not all of it resonates with me and I don't always get to choose all of it. And it gives me another opportunity to give you some inspiration for each month, so if maybe the theme that I do in my own journal isn't a perfect fit for you, you can have a look at the mystery journal theme and maybe take some inspiration from that instead. Sometimes people get a bit confused about the way that I release the videos on my channel because it looks like I'm filming them sort of just the month before the month that they're for, but I actually do pre-film all of this over the course of about 6 weeks and then just sit on the footage and edit it when it's around about time for it to be relevant. So the winner of the journal actually does have it in advance of the time that the journal is for, so they can actually use it for the months that I've set up. I totally understand why that would be confusing though. Here's an example of a theme you'd never see me doing in my own journal, but I love that I get to include it in the mystery journal. Everything I've used for this setup is from Hubman and Chubgirl, and they actually sponsored the video for this August setup. They are one of my favorite brands to work with, but their art style is extremely adorable and cutesy, and that's not always for me. But I know there are so many people that would enjoy it, so it's great for me to get a chance to feature brands like them, even if they don't always technically align with my own aesthetic. And Hubman and Chubgirl are actually really kindly sponsoring another setup in the upcoming mystery journal as well, so look forward to that. By far the thing I find the most challenging about setting up 6 months worth of journal in essentially one go over the course of a few weeks is coming up with varied weeklies. All these other spreads like the calendar and goals and one line a day and that kind of thing are very easy to put together for me in different ways each time, but the weeklies are a bit of a kicker because you need to do a lot of them to cover 6 months of the year. And I like the idea that the winner of the journal is maybe able to audition different page layouts and work out what they like so that after they finish with the journal that I give them, they can maybe go forward into a journal of their own with a pretty solid idea of what they want out of it. I have always really thought hard about what to include so that it's something that could be universally used by whoever wins the journal. Oh, don't you hate when you crease up the page when you're erasing? Oh, it drives me crazy. But I do like to also try to bake in some flexibility into the journal, so even though I've set up most of it for them already, there's always a blank spread in between each of the themes that they can use for anything at all, memory keeping or playing with some of the stationery I sent along with the journal. Extra tracking, notes of any kind, whatever they like. This October theme is one of my favorite things I have ever done, just quietly. And I also like to include a pre-decorated but empty spread within the pages of the theme. As much as I do plan what goes into these journals and try to make them universally usable, I don't claim to be able to predict the needs of a random person, so I like to include that. Here's one for example, so that even if I've included a lot of really helpful stuff, the winner's not boxed into only what I've included either. And even if they don't have a use for that page necessarily, maybe they can just turn it into a cool quote page, or just have some fun with the extra stationery that I send along and just play, because that's a really valid way to use a journal too. I mentioned earlier that the next mystery journal has been sent on its way to the winner already today, so obviously you can't enter to win that giveaway, but I will be doing another one of these for the second half of 2025, so stay tuned to the channel if you're interested in entering. Maybe hit subscribe and turn on notifications if you're ultra keen. Entries for that next mystery journal giveaway will open in May, with the journal to be shipped out in June. Another thing that I find quite challenging is the themes of the layouts and the way that seasons influence the way that you approach them. Obviously, being in the Southern Hemisphere, I have the opposite seasons to the Northern Hemisphere. Most of my YouTube following is in the Northern Hemisphere, so sometimes I think I should play into that. But the winner of this journal ended up being in New South Wales, which is in Australia, which is not far from me. And I have done this warm-toned, autumnal feeling November theme, which obviously didn't end up being seasonally too relevant for the winner of this journal, but I think we're pretty used to that kind of imagery in Australia, so hopefully the winner of the journal didn't mind. The mystery journal I sent on its way today has gone to the UK. And a little bit of foreshadowing, you will see it obviously over the coming months, but it does have maybe one or two themes that tie into Northern Hemisphere seasons somewhat, so that was lucky. December was also a challenging one for me to approach. I usually do something quite Christmassy in my own journal, but there's always a chance that the winner of the journal won't be someone who celebrates Christmas. So I've tried to give a cozy vibe here without being really specifically festive, you know? I tried to walk the line a little bit here. The imagery is very wintry with snowflakes and little cottages and things, but I feel like the colour scheme is pretty reminiscent of the beach at Christmas, which is a big Aussie tradition, so I've tried to put a little bit of both worlds in there. And something else I like to do with the mystery journal, I usually have a couple of pages left over at the end of the book after all of the setups and decorations are done. I like to use one of those spreads as a little end of year or mid-year reflection. Reflection is technically a pretty big part of the bullet journaling method, and obviously this journal isn't 100% a bullet journal because it's pre-set up, and that's kind of against the whole bullet journaling method. But people know me for bullet journaling, and for SEO reasons, I'm gonna have to keep calling it that. I just like the idea of including a year in review or a 6-month in review spread, and of course there are a couple of pages left after that the winner of this journal can use for anything their heart desires. I also like to include a selection of the stationery that I've used to make these themes so that the winner has some more flexibility if they want to continue any of those setups. And I really love to destash, so that works really well for me too. We're going to flip back to the front here because there's something else I wanted to include. I can't live without my grid spacing guide, so I don't expect the winner of this journal to live without one either. I've made just a very kind of bare bones one that's not decorated, and I'm including that too so that if they need to find the center of the page or divide it into quarters or anything, it'll be really easy for them to do that. And a massive shout out to Tracy Tyler Revell who came up with this idea in the first place. That is the entire July to December mystery journal for 2024 as I sent it out to the winner, and the journal for the first half of 2025 has already started to appear on my channel. The new journal setup is on the screen for you right now on the top right corner, and underneath that is January in the current mystery journal. So if you need a little bit of help or inspiration for new journal setup season, don't worry, I got you.